Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Lauren with her fantastic film, Before You. Let's take her to the clip.
Show it.
I'm so glad you're here.
Lauren, firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers Los Angeles family. Thank you for bringing your film to us, which was on last night on your birthday. So happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
What a present and a gift. For those that haven't seen Before You, tell us a little about the story.
Sure, absolutely. So it's about a married woman who's looking back on her first pregnancy, and it is a very personal story. It's a film that I wrote after having my daughter and really remembering the experience of the abortion that I had to go through in between my two daughters, actually. And I was, I was having a difficult time kind of processing what had happened, even though I had this beautiful new baby girl. It was just these memories of what I had gone through kept kind of erupting within me. And I'd been working on my feature at the time, but I kind of put that to the side and said, I really feel that this is important. And it was actually before the reversal of Roe versus Wade. So it was really just about how do I express the emotional journey of loss and how, and I didn't know a lot of women who had gone through it. I hadn't had, there wasn't really a lot of conversation around, termination for medical reasons. And so I thought, how can I do this in a unique way that can really reach the community of women and men who have experienced loss like this? And so wrote the film, and then Roe versus Wade happened, the reversal of Roe versus Wade happened. And so I immediately thought, I need to get this out there. And so took the time to find the right team. I reached out to Tala first, who's an amazing actress. And
So good.
yeah, so it was really important to me to express the emotions and the subjective experience of the loss of a planned pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren, you did an extraordinary job.
Oh, thank you.
You really did.
Thank you.
And the way you emotionally connected this story into these characters and what one was going through. Firstly, it's never easy having to relay something so personal, make it such a universal, but I think with whether it's one who's gone through that experience or has empathy for that experience or learning about what that experience looks like,
Absolutely.
you encapsulated it all. And
thank you.
I've never seen a story around this that's, as you mentioned, there's not many stories, we don't see this very often, but really just, engrosses the emotional context, and especially for your stylistic cinematic vision was really incredible.
Thank you.
Like really.
Yeah.
How was it? I mean, you're a mom too, right? You're going through this, you've been through this. How did you go about bringing these characters together? What was your kind of journey in the sort of writing, and how did you, what was the kind of things you were looking for in bringing the cast to be able to, relay this story honestly?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's kind of two parts to that. There was definitely the writing portion and making sure that I was kind of being very honest with how this couple was relating to one another, the moments in which they're both together and very much apart in this experience. They're both experiencing the same thing, but it's very hard to communicate around it. I think that's why there's not so much dialogue. It's everything was very visually. It was important for me to express everything visually. Because they're in those moments, it isn't really about the words, right? It's really,
no,
it is,
absolutely.
you know, and so,
Yeah.
so I really went back and wrote down kind of all of the visual kind of memories that I was having myself. I spoke to my husband quite a bit about, trying to understand his emotional journey as well. Because I think for me, it was really important that we were, as much as it is from Maya's perspective, it's really important to also show her husband's journey as well. And that's also something that we don't see very often.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so, and then Tala, as I mentioned, was one of the first people that I reached out to. I think she's just a really brilliant actress.
Amazing.
And we had a friend in common, so I reached out to him and he sent the script to her, and it was a very quick connection. And I actually did a lot of Alexander work with her.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so she came out. She's from New York, came out the summer before, and we worked with Jean-Louis, who's, I think, a well-known Alexander teacher here in LA, and he's also an associate producer on the film.
Oh, wow.
And he, I had been doing my own work with him as a director and a writer, and we did a session together where Tal and I just did all of this work together where, she knew that this, because it was such a personal story to me, that she wanted to honor that. And I think she had, having her own experience, we kind of just really came together and, formed a really wonderful bond in which there was a lot of trust and a lot of understanding. Again, not using a lot of words. It was very physical and very, very emotional.
Yeah, absolutely.
More so than, it wasn't, we sat and had multiple conversations, but the real, I think, connection came from actually doing that work together with Jean-Louis.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, honestly, incredible. I mean, I love Alexander Tenico. I think it's an incredible, I think actually for life, everyone should do it.
Agree, yes.
But it's so great that you incorporated that into this film because, visually this was it was a beautiful film to watch.
Oh, thank you.
I love how you kind of left us in moments for both of them of what they were going through their eyes, through their movement, through their experience. You could take in so much from what was going on for them emotionally, which was so special.
Thank you.
Kind of connecting those dots of Alexander and then working as a director for this. How did you, of course, how did you work with your actors? Because they're going quite a journey throughout this and it's an important journey.
Yeah.
How was your process with that with you personally?
Yeah, so Adam actually came on. So Tala was on for almost a year and a half, and then Adam came on about a month before.
Yeah.
So it was actually really difficult to find the right actor for the part of Avi. There were I interviewed quite a few people who were very interested, but either they had a similar experience and didn't feel that they were capable. There were two men actually who weren't capable of taking on that emotional role.
Interesting.
So, which was really interesting. And Adam, he just came. So Jean-Louis actually introduced me to Adam.
Oh,
so
really?
Yes. So I have to give Jean-Louis a lot of credit.
I love it. Yeah. That's amazing.
So he came on, and I just had a lot of, he's a true feminist. Like he's this incredible, supportive. He has 3 kids himself. He is just, he's a really, really passionate, loving individual. So I got to know him personally. We did a Zoom read with he and Tala, and it was like, yes. The two of you together, absolutely. And then I did rehearsal with them and took a lot of the techniques that I've learned from Jean-Louis. So we did everything from movement work to, it's called the 5 rhythms. So I actually put on different songs and have them just move their bodies and interact with each other in space. So we did everything from that to then interviewing them as a couple. So just kind of asking them questions, where did you go on a honeymoon? How did you meet? Giving them the opportunity to kind of create their own backstory together.
Amazing.
And, took pictures of them together in the little house that we had, rented for the rehearsal and just, tried to kind of form that
Yeah.
bond for them, you
Yeah.
know, and just a lot of communication, checking in with them,
Yeah.
for Tala especially, it's a very heightened
Yeah.
emotional journey, as you
Absolutely.
mentioned. So just kind of going in, checking in with her, making sure that, she felt good and safe. And
I think you gave your actors so much freedom and fluidity within their experience emotionally through these characters, and I think it really does show in what what you gave us as a story. Now this is again it is it's kind of an unbelievable experience because when you had to go through it, it's already tough enough as it was on an emotional standpoint to go through this in your own personal experience, and many women and their husbands and families have to go through this experience. And then to kind of where the juncture of where we are and how this has become critical to and something that we never hoped would ever reverse in the way that it did. How effective has this been, sharing this story now in these times for you?
I think it's a bit complicated, actually. I think my hope was that I could humanize an experience that's so politicized. And I hope that I do that in this film. But inherently, we are living in a world where talking about abortion is like a minefield, right? So I have no choice but to talk about the political arena that we're in, and I think that's also why I decided to get involved with Planned Parenthood.
Incredible partnership. How amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And Karen Spruik at Planned Parenthood has been really amazing at championing the film, and I think also to really expand the conversation that we don't always hear some of these organizations talking about, that it's, and I think I don't know exactly the percentage, but the percentage of women who go through abortions who are already mothers it's an incredible number. And I think I'm gonna have to ask Karen, but I think it's something like 60%.
Wow.
60% of women. So it's really important that this story is being expressed. And I think that hopefully it'll open doors for people to see that, as difficult as this procedure is, at the end of the day, it's necessary. And that nobody wants to have an abortion. Nobody wants to go through this experience. This is not, when we say, and the terms are always changing also. I mean, that's something that my log line had to change a million times because you have to be so careful with the language that you're using around this subject. And so it's constantly shifting. And it was really important for us to really to get it right, and to be really thoughtful of it, thoughtful of what the environment looks like, and see how we can kind of open doors for maybe people who don't understand what it is to go through something like this, to see the true journey and the emotional journey, and how necessary it is when you're in a situation of wanting to have a child, but unfortunately not being able to go through with a pregnancy.
Well, I hope Lauren, that you and your team and everyone involved has done a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And it really, showed at the event on your birthday with everybody there. But I mean, it was such a special program as well. Obviously, in this case, it was our celebrative all-female directors. But particularly in your program, which had teenage young women making film, and how important I felt even just for them to see a film like yours, and in our audience as well. What was that experience like for you, sharing before you with the audience, but also what did you want your audience to take from your film?
I mean, it's a really incredible experience to be able to share this, very vulnerable story with so many people. And I think something that's really been incredible for me is to have so many people come approach me afterwards and say, thank you. Your story is my story. Every screening that I've had, I've actually had people come and share that with me. And I think that at the end of the day is
everything.
Yeah.
That's why you
and
make
that's why I make
right?
the film, know? And it's so important that we as women don't feel alone in this journey, and that we are able to feel that we are part of a community. I think sometimes also in the TFMR community, I've been working with some women who are very much at the head of that that community and do a lot of social work around that. There is a conversation around how our version of abortion isn't always included in the abortion conversation. So then to be in an environment where I'm showing the film and I have the audience responding and saying, oh, wow, I am a part of this community, that there are people out there who are like me, that I do hold so much shame around this, and I haven't told anybody, what I went through. And I think while it's difficult to be so vulnerable and to share this very personal experience, I hope that it's led other people to be able to share theirs as well, and to not hold it as in a place of shame.
Well, you're doing that. I mean, clearly from people that are coming up to you and experience it. I mean, you're doing that on multiple levels.
And of all ages. It's really interesting. There are women, later who've, I mean, one of our actresses, actually, who is, the nurse who's, I think she's in her 70s, and she just said, she's like, wow, I went through this, and I've never talked about it. And, we were never allowed to talk about it. It was just something that we held in, and that's just what it was. And so to be able, especially in this environment, to come out and actually say, yes, I went through this. And so many friends of mine who have actually experienced this very same thing, that I think had I not made the film, I don't know if we would have had that conversation.
No, and goodness me, it makes you just really appreciate how important that you've made this film. And for you as a filmmaker as well, so great that you're putting out stories that, are really important, resonating, holding empathy, holding space, holding education, all those important things, as well as entertaining. What is next for you, Lauren? Where are you taking us next?
So I'm working on a feature. It's a psychological drama.
Oh, amazing.
I'm very excited about that. So it's similar in terms of the visual sensibility of Before You, but takes place in the art world. Amazing. And deals with mental health and disassociation and trauma, all those fun things you do in a psychological drama. So working on that. And then I have my production company that we launched with Before You being kind of our first project and an example of what we're looking to do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So collaborating with organizations and, trying to extend the reach beyond just the world of film, and seeing if, how we can incorporate social impact as well into narrative filmmaking specifically. So, I'm really excited about it, and
fantastic.
Very excited to get the script out for it's called Echoes. So
amazing.
yes,
So we've got a title as well. Well, listen, we're super proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping us through your filmmaking, explore and open our minds, and
thank you.
And importance of storytelling. And so we're so glad you're a filmmaker. But thank you for bringing Before You. Thank you for you and your team and everybody that was able to make this film, because we know just how not only have you just made a film, you've made a very important one. And so we're looking forward to following all of your work as you move forward. So thank you very much, Lauren.
Thank you for giving me the platform to be able to show it and share it. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you.